Hello, everyone, and welcome back to another great Super Cool Radio interview. I'm your host, as always, Matthew Thomas. Thank you so much for tuning in. I got a great guest joining me at this time. Earlier this year, Vancouver-based rock band The Get-Arounds released their new album entitled I Want to Live. Please welcome my guest, Lana, the lead vocalist for The Get-Arounds.
Hi, everyone. Thanks for having me, Matthew. This is awesome. I love your channel.
Thank you. Thank you so much. It's very nice to have you on the podcast. So I know we got quite a bit to discuss, obviously, with the Get-Arounds and the new album, I Want to Live. So before we get to all of that, I got a fun question to kind of break the ice a little bit before we dive in further with this conversation.
Yeah.
So for you, if you give dinner with any two musicians, living or deceased, who would they be?
Oh, It would probably be Tina Turner and Amy Winehouse.
Very solid.
I think we'd have a really good time with those two. Yeah.
I think definitely with those two for sure. So I was very interesting picks. I wasn't sure what to expect, but very good picks.
Yeah, I that was a surprise question. So I'm surprised I picked them, but that's how I'm feeling right now. So
right on. I could dig that. Yeah. So now focusing on you. So before the Get-Arounds, how'd you get started as a musician? From my understanding, you actually started out as a drummer, if that's correct.
Yeah, I'm actually still a drummer in a band called The Furniture, but I used to play in a female punk band called 10 Days Late. And we toured for about 10 years and played with everyone from Rancid, toured with Blink-182, SNFU, tons and tons of big shows. And then after 10 years, it was kind of like, okay, time to move on. I mean, that's a long time, I feel, for a band. In a van, 5 girls in a van. So I did that, and then after that I played in kind of an electro project, more dancey 4 on the floor, a little bit of having to play with a click track live and a little more regiment, and we got to play some really cool shows with that, opening for the Killers, sold out shows. So yeah, it's been some really big stages and a lot of fun. And now I still play drums, but I play in a band called The Furniture, which is kind of it's kind of a post-punk, Breeders, Nirvana, in the sense of the dynamic of the music. Not at all like Nirvana, but that intensity to, high and low kind of thing. So we still do that, and it's a lot of fun. I've been drumming a long time, so it's just kind of a comfortable when I sit down. It's like, okay, let's do this. And then over COVID, actually, I was at home, and I own a music venue here in Vancouver, so everything was shut down. The music venue is called Lana Ryma. So we do live music 5 nights a week. So it was shut down, and I was at home going, oh my God, what's going on? How is this possible that they could close our businesses? And it was just really a scary time. But at home, Carmen writes, oh my God, a song a week. He's just a songwriting machine. Maybe because no one else was around. I mean, I was putting a few drums down just to help him out. And then he wanted some backups done. And so then I started and the only backups I'd done prior to that was gang vocals, like punk stuff, like yelling. And as a drummer, I've never really cared about notes. You know what I mean? Doon, doon, it's not something that's in my focus. So anyways, the first couple times I started singing, I was like, oh my God, this is so horrible. And then he started explaining notes, and he's like, well, you're not hitting the notes, so you don't have the melody. And then I started really listening and singing. And honestly, it started making me want to get up in the morning, and I was like, oh my God, why was I not singing a long time ago? So it's kind of just taken off, and we recorded a whole album, and it's been received, like, it's charting lots of different places on like the indie level. And yeah, it's been really great. And now we have a second album almost done, and it's a bit overwhelming, but awesome, you know. And that's
No, for sure, a lot to unpack there with everything. But
yeah.
my first thing before we start talking about more about the get around. So, what age did you start learning to drum?
I think it was in grade 5. I was at one of those school concerts, and there was this like popular kid, Dennis, and maybe all the girls had a crush on him or something. But I remember sitting in the little audience in the gymnasium, and he got up, and he was around grade 4 or 5, I think grade 5, and he played drums and with the music teacher to Jingle Bell Rock, and I just remember going, oh my God, that is the coolest thing I'd ever seen. And the whole gym was just like rocking away. And then, so I don't know, maybe a week later, I went and asked the music teacher if he would start teaching me drums, because prior to that I did a little bit of violin, a little bit of, and they poke my back because I'm like slouching. And, at this time I was like kind of a tomboy. I like BMXs and, stuff like that. So violin wasn't really my thing. And piano was a little too cerebral for me to handle. And then the drums just kind of, I started learning, to read drum charts, and I started that way. And yeah, to me, drumming's like dancing, it just flows. And yeah, so that's how a long answer to get to your answer. But that's when I started, around grade 5. And then I didn't play for about 8 years. And then I was at a party, and I had a bit to drink, and the band was jamming. And then I sat down and started playing. And then after that party, I dragged my drums out and just started playing, and then started a band. And it's just been nonstop since then. Yeah.
No, right. I was just curious, like when you started with that, but it does, as you said, it does go on and on until presently, right now.
Yeah.
With the get around, which you've mentioned. So this was your first time, like actually, like singing, being lead vocalist for a band. Like you kind of talked about it a little bit earlier, but was there any kind of like either hesitations or like learning curves with trying to like get those notes correct?
Oh yeah. Like, I think it's like any instrument. I don't drum in the get around, so I don't have that security blanket. I'm not sitting behind and holding the foundation down. And with singing, it's a whole different thing. You've got to not only do you have to sing your notes, remember your words while you're thinking about, holy shit, I'm so fucking nervous right now. Am I looking at the ground too much? Am I not engaging? And so the first couple shows, there was that. But at the same time, I was kind of like, am I going to just wait 4 years until I think I'm like the best singer ever, and then have to work on all that other shit, right? Or I'm just going to go and do it. And also owning a music venue, it's kind of like a home game, like it's my place, it's our stage. And I've been on the stage drumming many times. And so that helps. That definitely helped. For all the times I've told my singers in other bands, like, just go do it. It's easy. Just jump up there. It's all coming back. Like, what the hell was I even trying to tell them? Just go do it. It's easy. It's not that easy. But it's become easier. And my goal is to be as comfortable that I am as a drummer to be that way as a singer, but not wait 20 years to achieve that comfort level. So, you know, with singing, it's been a lot of repeating the notes, singing and practicing. And even though you can sing it perfect, dealing with nerves on stage and how whether it's dry mouth or choking up or pushing too hard because you're excited. Speaking of excited, I think of it more as I'm trying to change my mindset where it's like, okay, I'm not nervous, I'm excited. And so that puts it kind of in a different frame for me. It's just excitement, you know, and yeah, I think confidence is key. And the last show we played, I kicked ass. I mean, we kicked ass as far as the show. And I think I just stopped thinking about all those things, you know, that we all have those insecurities, or we have all those things. So this time I was just like, fuck it. The show is going to happen no matter how I feel. So I might as well have fun. And I think that came across. So, you know, now I feel I can't wait till the next one, and I want to go on tour, and I want to do this every night. You know, so.
Oh yeah, no, for sure. You kind of have to forget about everything that's like going on around you. Just like focus on what you're doing, but also like developing kind of muscle memory where you don't have to think really too much. You can kind of just go out and act.
100%. Yeah. 100%. That's what someone told me, actually. With vocals, it's just muscle memory. And so I was like, what? I understand that now. So you just sing it so many times that your body doesn't do it any other way. It just goes there. So.
No, exactly. And you have to just develop that confidence like just along the way. Like I know when I first started just doing interviews, I was like so nervous with everything. And then like after a while, like just like the same kind of, you know, the mindset with you, just like, we're just going to go out and do it because it's going to happen regardless. And I might as well have fun doing it.
Yeah. And look at you now. You're killing it. It's great. It's so easy to talk to you.
And that's what I go for. My goal, like when I'm doing this, I just want people to have fun. We're gonna have a great conversation. That's what I go for. I don't really have too much of it. Like I have questions that, like, if I get to, fantastic. But if the conversation goes wherever, I'm okay with that.
Cool. Yeah.
But speaking of my questions, I did have some, since we're talking about the live shows for the Get Around. So for you, do you have a favorite song to perform live?
I do. Lately, it's on that album, there's 2 songs. So there's lately on that album, I love Fast Car. I love singing that one. I like it because, well, I like how the vocals turned out, but it's kind of a cross between yelling. It's kind of I wouldn't say an Amyl and the Sniffers kind of song, but it's kind of an intense, like, take me, you know, it's like, and after you sing that song, it kind of gets a lot of any kind of nervous energy out, just because it's so like, almost like after you're screaming and stuff, like it's all out, you know? So it's like, now let's start this party kind of thing. So I think it's that song I really like playing live lately. And maybe because it's not super technical, like, well, not for me, because it's just sits well with me. But there's a new song that we wrote called Fuck Around, and it is so good. You're going to hear it eventually. And we're almost done recording it, but we played it for the first time, and it's caveman rock at its best. Like it's really good. Yeah.
Well, I definitely look forward to checking it out when it is released. Yeah. If it's anything like you know, the I Want to Live album, which I very much enjoyed, I definitely look forward to seeing kind of how you guys progress and kind of just like build your sound.
Yeah, I'll send it to you because you're not censoring things, so we can say fuck as much as we want.
That's right. It's good old internet, baby.
Cheers.
All right. All right, so I'm curious. So obviously you're talking about some new music for the Get Around. So like, what's kind of the writing process for the Get Arounds? How do you guys build a song?
Well, Carmen does a lot of that. He, I think his process is, Carmen wants to write about 30 songs to pick 10 that are really good. So he comes from that mentality, which if your creative skills are there, then that's amazing. For me, I would probably write one and then push it as a single and then wait another month till I've written another one. Like, so everyone kind of writes differently. And so we usually put drum loops just to get a feel of a song. And then he'll come up, because he's such a good songwriter, usually the structure of the song, it's pretty like fail safe. I mean, and then the melody's there, and then I'll change a few. I'll make it relate to me. Like if he writes something about, a woman or whatever, and I might change it to make it about a man or whatever, right? Like with Rockstar Girl, he started that song called Moroccan Girl. And he had just read a book called Moroccan Girls or something. And then we had kind of a rock star in Vancouver, Jerry Jen. She had just passed away. And there was some things in her life. So he kind of combined Moroccan Girls and Jerry Jen. And then I changed it to Rockstar Girl because I didn't want to sing like Moroccan Girl. Like that's just kind of, what is that? It just sounds ridiculous. But so it became Rockstar Girl. And then basically I changed some of the lyrics, and sometimes he'll let me slide in some of my own melodies, only if it's better, according to him. So most of it's Carmen, and he bases most of his writing starts on guitar, and then he can play bass as well. And then we start showing it to the band. I record vocals, and as I'm learning the vocals, we just keep doing take after take until I finally have the melody solid. And then it's not just the melody, it's like there's so much more about vocals. It's like it's the tone. If you push even, it's like acting. I did acting for years too. So it's like you could say one word so many different ways and it'll have a different vibe to it or whatever, right? So that one word at the end can just ruin it. So there's all this, like your tone, your projection, your breath, your intention. So all of that has to kind of, you have to have the vision of what you want those vocals to, where that you want them to sit. And yeah, I mean, that's kind of how we come to a song. And we generally know if it's a good one or not. So, and it's usually the ones that if you're you leave that day and you're like, fuck around, like you're like, that is a good song. That is a good song. That is a good song. So
well, for sure. If you're already getting into it and it's already like stuck in your head and the song's like not even half finished, then it's like this is gonna be a good song.
Yeah, yeah. So I think all the songwriting is Carmen's kind of the genius behind that. I'm the messenger. The rest of the band is what drives it and makes it awesome. And yeah.
Oh no, right on. I've been really digging what you guys have been doing. Like it's it's just you guys, I can tell just a lot of different influences and styles like within just the whole album itself. But you guys are throwing in some different stuff in there and just catchy stuff. You go straight to the chorus, you get the hooks in. It's really good stuff.
Yeah, Carmen's always like, don't bore us, get to the chorus. So, I'm a big fan of verses as well, because I like, when verses set you up to, maybe there's like from my emo teens or whatever, but I like to kind of like, oh, it makes me feel a certain way, or it makes me all like nostalgic or a certain feel. So that's what I like about some of the verses. But yeah, I know what you mean. Like some of the choruses, we try to get there as quick as we can, you know.
Oh, no, for sure, and without like compromising the verses themselves. Like to clarify what I was talking about, but you guys definitely get the hooks in very quickly.
Yeah. Yeah.
So now I'm curious because I haven't interviewed a band based out of Canada for I want to say quite a few months. So I'm curious, like and you own your own music venue. So like, what's kind of the live music looking like in Canada?
In Vancouver, it's pretty alive right now. It's there's a lot of bands now, and then there's a lot of venues. A lot of them closed, unfortunately, you know, with high rents, and you know, there was a combination of things for me. I got a kitchen renter, there was some government help, and so I survived that. I'm also in kind of like a tough neighborhood. So the rent's a little lower. There's just a good combination of things that kept us going. I've been going 13 years now. And I find that a lot of those venues that had closed, there's a lot of like breweries, places that, especially it's summer, so there's a lot of venues opening up just on their patio that normally aren't music venues. So there's quite a few places to play, and there's a lot of really young bands forming, and it's like I'm always fascinated because I know kind of my scene, but then you realize, oh, this is really cool. There's all these like other scenes and all these like, and there's a lot of young bands that, you know, are starting to sound like Nirvana. And I'm like, oh my God, that's their influence. And it's really cool to see what young bands are doing. And I get to see that all the time because I open the venue up to young bands, and I don't give them Friday, Saturday nights, but I give them, you know, a Sunday, a Wednesday or Thursday. And it's really cool to see. It's really that energy and just what they're into and their fashion and everything. It's really great. Never a dull moment. Yeah.
Well, really great to hear. I'm glad that obviously you got live music, you know, for you guys. Obviously you got the shows lined up with all of that as well, and you got newer bands, and you know, obviously the grunge kind of Seattle connection over there as well.
Yeah.
So as I'm closing out this interview, just a few more things before we wrap it up. So what's kind of the rest of this year looking like for the get-arounds?
Well, we have some good friends in a band called Clone, and they're charting on like Rodney on the Rock, and they're amazing. But they also, a couple of them work in film, so their videos are top notch. They're like so good, and they're going to be working on. We decided we're going to but film a video for Black and White. So we're actually going to start that in 2 weeks, where we film the performance part of it. And then 2 weeks later, some of the cut scenes we're not getting too into like a storyboard and, you know, but we all kind of like dark, creepy. I love horror movies and stuff like that. It's not going to be too scary, but it's just going to be a little bit twisted and a little weird, the right amount. So I'm looking forward to that. And then we're recording. We're always recording music, so we're always working on our demos for the new album. And so we're going to be recording Fuck Around, getting that. We might release that as a single just because it's too good to wait. It's too good to wait for this song. So we might do that one. And then we're going to get a booking agent for Europe. Not sure if we need a record label. I don't know. I don't know. You know, you can do a lot yourself. I think a booking agent is really what you need. You know, I love radio play. and I love what you do. I love interviews. I love all this portion of it. But I love playing live. So I think, we want what every band wants, stadium shows. So you just got to strategize your way. And
that's right. And just got to make it happen. Yeah. And it sounds like you guys got some great things in the works with more new music and touring, plus obviously with the PR as well. And I definitely look forward to seeing where you guys progress from here, because it sounds like it's going to be really cool.
Yeah, it's a lot of fun. Yeah.
Oh, definitely, for sure. So last thing before we sign off, where are the best places to find the Get-Arounds online?
Well, Bandcamp, because we get paid. So I believe it's the Get-Arounds are #1 on Bandcamp, but you can just Google it. You'll see it. And then it's on Spotify. And then there's a YouTube channel. You can follow us on Twitter, the Get-Arounds Band. Instagram is the Get-Arounds. And that'll just, if you kind of know what you're doing, you'll find us. So, yeah.
No, right on. And I'll make it a little bit easier. I'll drop some links in the description of this podcast as well. But Lana, thank you so much for hanging out with me. I had a really great time chatting with you. I really appreciate it.
Yeah, it's been a lot of fun. Thank you.
Of course, for Lana of the Get-Arounds, I'm your host as always, Matthew Thomas. Thank you so much for watching. Listen to Super Cool Radio. And remember, stay frosty.